in a year period. We always talk about inflation in year increments. And so inflation was 4% over the last 12 months. Inflation was 8% or 12%. We always think about it annually. And when nobody sits back and does the math, 4% inflation, that means per month, it was a certain percentage of inflation that happens on your money every single month. But nobody calculates it that way, so they don't care. The average person in Australia or in the United States, in wealthy countries, and probably most countries in general, but we think in terms of monthly cash flow, right? My rent is this much this month. I spend this much on groceries this month. All of our accounting is done in monthly increments. We don't think annually, we think monthly. And so as soon as inflation gets to the point where it is a certain whole percentage, right now it's a fraction of a percent in a monthly amount, but once it gets to 1% or 2% inflation per month, I think that's when people will try to find mechanisms like Bitcoin to escape that operational kind of like cash flow, that drain on their monthly cash flow. All of a sudden, it's now a monthly expense to them, and that will start to change the perspective of individuals. And so that, I believe, is going to be the first crack that happens towards hyper-Bitcoinization. I always wonder, I've read a lot on like the Weimar hyperinflation. A lot of Bitcoiners have, right? And I've never really found it, but I've always wondered, and I know it happened really quickly, but when was the first time somebody said, I've got to get rid of this money as fast as possible, right? There was a day in history at some point. When did that happen? I imagine the closest I can get to any kind of historical record was when people started to feel the value drained in a monthly capacity. Obviously, it got to the point where it was draining in an hourly and minute capacity. It was a runaway train by that point. Monthly cash flow is how businesses think. It's how individuals think. So I think that's the point at which we see the tip towards hyper-Bitcoinization.